Okay children, now you know what is osmosis. To make this point more clear, we have some experiments. We'll go through those experiments to understand and fix the concept of osmosis in our minds.
Children, as we already know that osmosis is a process in which the solvent molecules move from a region of low concentration to a region of high concentration. Now we are going to see this with the help of an experiment. The materials required for doing this experiment are a beaker, water, normal tap water and concentrated saturated sugar solution, and some raisins are required. So with these requirements we are doing an experiment to prove osmosis. First of all, we need to take a beaker, pour some amount of tap water which is low concentrated in this beaker and add some raisins to this. Normal raisins to be added and leave it for some time and observe for the changes what we see in these raisins. When we observe the beaker, we find that the raisins that are present in this tap water are swollen. So with this swollen raisins which are with us, let us see what will happen if we put these swollen raisins in concentrated sugar solution. We drop these raisins which are swollen into the concentrated saturated sugar solution which is already prepared. So let us see further changes that will take place in the beaker. We'll wait for some time to observe the changes. What changes will take place in the raisin, we'll see. So when we observe after some time, we see that the raisins that are present in concentrated sugar solution are shrunken. The size is completely decreased. Water in that is completely like it came outside completely. There is no water inside. So why did raisin behave differently for water and concentrated solution? What might have happened? Look, when two liquids are separated by a semi-permeable membrane, osmosis takes place, I said you already. So in this case also, the brown region which is present in the diagram is raisin, while the blue color portion is the water. And we can clearly see that raisin have more concentration, water is having lesser concentration. So the water molecules started to move through the semi-permeable membrane into the raisin. So the movement of water molecule, nothing but solvent molecules, occurred from a region of low concentration to a region of higher concentration. This is the reason why the raisins taken in the normal tap water have swollen when kept for some time. Now these raisins are taken in a concentrated sugar solution. Already water is present in these raisins. Such raisins are taken in concentrated sugar solution. But here the concentration of sugar solution is more compared to the concentration of raisin. So the water molecules which are present in the raisin passed the semi-permeable membrane and they started entering into the sugar solution. So this movement of molecules resulted in shrinking of raisins when they are taken in concentrated sugar solution. So in the first case, when we have taken raisins in tap water, water entered into raisins and raisins have swollen. This is called as endosmosis. While in the second case, the water that is present in the raisins have entered into concentrated sugar solution. That is, water came out of raisins. It is called as exosmosis. In this module, we have learned that osmosis is a movement of water molecules from a region of high solvent concentration to a region of low solvent concentration across a semi-permeable membrane. And when raisins are kept in water, they increase in size due to endosmosis. When raisins are kept in concentrated sugar solution, they shrink due to exosmosis.
That makes the point clear about osmosis. With this, we have completed our first experiment. Now let's move into the second experiment that is related to potato tuber.
To demonstrate osmosis using potato tuber. Materials required: 2 big potato tubers, beakers half filled with water, pins, knife, sugar solution, water. Procedure: take 2 large-sized potatoes. Peel off their skin and make their base flat. Make a hollow cavity in the center of each. Fill the potato marked A with sugar solution. Fill B with plain water to serve as control. Set each in different beakers half filled with water and mark as A and B. Mark the initial level of solution or water in the cavity in both the sets by inserting the pins. Leave them undisturbed for 2 to 3 hours. After 2 to 3 hours. Observation: the solution in the cavity A rises. In the control experiment, there is no change in water level. Inference: in setup A, water molecules have moved across the semi-permeable cell membrane into the cavity. Whereas in B, there is no movement of water molecules can be seen because concentration of water molecules is same at both the sides.
And finally, let's move into the third experiment that is related to egg osmosis in the egg. Okay.
What are the materials required for this experiment? We need to take some HCl, 2 beakers, a cloth, 2 raw eggs, a spoon, a strip of paper, and some salt. First of all, we need to take the 2 beakers and prepare some dilute hydrochloric acid, that is adding the water to the hydrochloric acid. We can do this even with the help of the vinegar which is present in our home, or if you don't have vinegar in home, you can do it with the help of floor cleaning acid. Whatever floor cleaning acid is present in our house, it is dilute acidic acid solution. We can use that instead of this dilute hydrochloric acid. That should be taken in 2 beakers, and 2 raw eggs are to be dropped into this dilute hydrochloric acid, 1 in each beaker. And after some time, the eggshell slowly start melting in the dilute hydrochloric acid. This happens with any calcium carbonate structure. Since the eggshell is also made up of calcium carbonate, it starts dissolving in the HCl. You can do this with the help of a small chalk piece also. Chalk piece also starts dissolving in the HCl since it is also made up of calcium carbonate. And even you can do it with the help of a marble. Take some marble and drop it in HCl. You will observe that it slowly starts dissolving in HCl. Same is the case in egg also. Since the shell is made up of calcium carbonate, the shell slowly starts reacting with the acid to form calcium chloride and gives out carbon dioxide gas. After some time, let us take it for 5 hours, we'll see what happened. Slowly remove the eggs that are present in HCl. Do not put your hand into that HCl, children. Slowly remove it with the help of a spoon and put it in a tap water to clean those eggs. The eggshell has dissolved and that can be easily cleaned in the tap water. And see, now you can see that there is no shell over this egg. When you wipe it with the cloth, you can see that the membrane that is present inside the egg is exposed. Wipe it with the help of cloth and keep it aside. You can see that it also is a rubbery like structure. If you press it, even it bounces when you throw it on the ground. And now we need to measure the diameter of these eggs with the help of the strip, that is paper strip which we have taken. We need to mark the diameter of these eggs with the help of a pen. So just measure the circumference of the diameter of the egg and then you need to mark it. For both the eggs it is almost the same and we have used the same strip of paper. You can see that. Now what we are going to do is we are going to take two beakers and in one we are adding the salt solution to make a concentrated solution. In place of this salt solution we can use the sugar solution which is already prepared by us previously. So one beaker should have concentrated solution, that is hypertonic. The second beaker should have normal tap water which is hypotonic or less concentration compared to the egg's inner content. Now one egg should be placed in the concentrated solution and the second egg should be placed in the fresh water. And we are going to leave this for 5 hours and see what are the changes that take place in the egg after waiting for 5 hours. After 5 hours, this is the condition of both the eggs. One egg is clearly shrunken. The egg that is placed in the salt water or the concentrated solution has shrunken and the egg that is placed in the tap water is swollen. Okay, let us experimentally prove that these two changes have taken place by using the strip of paper which we have used to measure the circumference in our previously. So both the eggs are to be removed from the beaker and slowly keep it aside. And now bring the strip which we have already marked during the measurement of circumference and observe the egg which is kept in concentrated solution. The circumference of the egg has decreased. See the marking, where the marking is present and the strip did not reach that point of marking because the circumference has decreased. The decrease in circumference is clearly seen here. Next, in the second case, we are placing the egg on the strip of paper which we have used to mark earlier. Now we can clearly see that the strip is passing the mark which we have initially labeled. That means the circumference of the egg placed in tap water has increased. Okay, so that is what happened in the first case. If you observe this first beaker is having egg which is having a lower concentration compared to the saturated solution which is present in the beaker. The solution in the beaker is having high concentration and inside the egg it is lower concentration, as a result of which the water present inside the egg started to move outside. Since the water molecules move outside the egg, this process is called as exosmosis. Exosmosis is moving of water from In the second case, the egg has swollen. This is because the egg is having higher concentration, albumin is having higher concentration and fresh water is having lower concentration. As a result of this, water from the beaker moved into the egg and this process is called as endosmosis. So in first case, exosmosis has occurred. In second case, endosmosis has occurred. This is the same phenomena by which water enters the roots. Inside the roots, the cytoplasm that is present in the root hair that has extended into the soil is having higher concentration compared to the water that is present in the soil. So the water starts moving from soil into the root hair, which is having higher concentration. And there is a semi-permeable membrane that separates this between the root hair and soil water. So water moves from outside to inside.
I hope you understood the topic clearly, children. Okay. Stay safe. Keep learning, children. Happy learning.